Okay, so let's get started with our top priority. And it's a story that's been really percolating for the past couple of days, and it still has some legs. That according to our Mark Feinstein, who tweeted a couple of days ago, according to his sources, the Tampa Bay Rays would be open to trading their former Cy Young winner, Blake Snell. Now, Blake, obviously, look, the pedigree, the resume is exceptional. It's off the charts. He's also a Seattle area kid.
Yeah.
He spends most of his time in the offseason out there. He's a big Seattle Seahawks fan, loves University of Washington football. If you're the Seattle Mariners, considering Blake Snell the player and those ties there to your team and city, would you go all in?
I would go all in. Why not? I mean, Jerry DiPoto hasn't made a trade like in 72 hours or so.
That's right.
He's ready
due
to go. Yeah. When you look at it, wouldn't it be great to have a hometown kid? The problem is that Blake is such a premier pitcher that it's going to call for you getting rid of one of your premier players. I mean, certainly Kyle Lewis is not going anywhere,
right.
The Rookie of the Year. You think about Kalenic, the trade with the Mets. He's an up-and-comer that's going to be a big star for them. So the names that they'll want, Tampa Bay, certainly I don't know if that trade can get done. But, boy, if you're a pitcher and you're on the trading block. Now, this isn't the first time the Rays have thought of this. They traded David Price,
yes.
James Shields, Chris Archer with remaining years on their contract. So certainly they're not afraid to do it. Let's see if the Mariners are.
And this also would not be the first time that these two teams have consummated a deal with one another. Since 2014, since the 2014 trade deadline, the Rays and the Mariners have made 12 trades. Now, Seattle, Ron, has a farm system, top 5, a lot of young assets, which the Rays would covet and want in return. That's number 1. Number 2 for me is I always say that when the Rays call you about a trade, hang up.
That's right.
Hang up. Right. They always seem to get the better end of that deal.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one team that won't trade with them is the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? When they traded Meadows and Glasnow for Archer. But when you look at this, it's a chance for the Mariners to add really to their rotation. Now, thinking of the guys they have, Marco Gonzalez, Justice Sheffield, Justin Dunn, Kikuchi. So they've got some good young arms, but Blake Snell would jump right to the top, push all those guys down, less responsibility on them. And this is the Mariners' year, I think, to maybe make a push to get back in the postseason.
So when you look at from the Rays' perspective on why they would do this, what is it just because, well, that's just the Rays and that's what they do? They're a little bit outside of the box and they're willing to take chances? Is that the first thing that comes to mind? I'm surprised that they would do this.
I am too, and we talked about how they had past history. They've also got some guys you saw in the postseason, Fleming and others, that are on their way up. And when you consider what they're paying, it's not a lot of money in today's game, a lot of money to you and I, but $13 million a year for Snell over the next 3 years of his contract. That's not a lot of money for a premier pitcher. But you know what? They usually only get 15, 16 outs from him. They certainly can get that from another pitcher. So I think that's why they're in a place where they might move him. They have all these fungible kind of assets as relievers. Guys that didn't make it or pitch well a lot of different places, pitch great for them. Maybe they're feeling the same way about starting pitching.
Yeah, and I think maybe the Rays are also thinking, hey, we've got a lot of young dudes that have excellent stuff. Before we leave this, if you're Blake Snell and if you're hearing this, what do you think? If ultimately the deal doesn't get done?
Your first thought is anger, I would think. It's like, really? I mean, I'm a Cy Young Award winner, participated for this team the last few seasons, one of your best pitchers in the postseason. I think he'd be angry at the first thought. Now, we're talking about him going to Mariners. That would not make him angry.
That's right. He would definitely, I'm sure he would welcome that move if and when it comes to pass.